How's it going? It's Kevin, Kenney. Welcome to a brand new episode of On the Record. Our guest this episode, R3hab.
Chick.
I like that. That's a nice sound effect. I think more guests should do that. Nice. Do you have you know what? You're a DJ. Do you have a favorite sound effect that you use in your sets?
No, but I always think it's funny. Like some people use a.
I hate that. I grew up here in New York, and Hot 97's our big rap station.
Oh, okay.
And oh my gosh, like they'd premiere a song like Jay-Z, and you'd want to hear the song, and they'd be doing that.
Rewind.
Or the DJ IDs. You know, the DJ always has their
DJ
ID.
clue. I was like, when I started DJing, I was like, how can I get that echo?
Yeah, right.
But the echo goes forever, like the end of the song.
It's still there. So let's get down to the business at hand. The new album, Trouble. It's out everywhere now. How's it feel?
Great.
It feels great.
No, really. I'm happy with this day and age. Online, a lot of possibilities. Quick work. A lot of, like, let's say with the album, which I'm really proud of is how quick it went. Like it was email, make a change to the vocalist, I didn't have to fly out, make a change. A lot was done over Skype or email.
It's amazing what you can do with
And
technology
that's
now.
2017. Instead of looking things at the negative, the positives outweigh the negative. Because a lot of opportunity right now. Things going quick, fast internet.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I got to ask you, I want to get inside the mind of an artist because, we as fans only see half of what's going on, right? You're somebody who, as an independent artist, has had over 100 million streams just on Spotify alone over the past year, which is incredible. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So somebody might ask, why even make an album, right? You're having so much success on streaming. So tell me, what was the decision to have a body of work? Why was that important?
So I always wanted to make one since I was young, but, when I had with sort of when I wasn't independent, it was always hard because it was like an album, is it useful, is it gonna sell, and all these things. And I was like, I wanna, instead of making a compilation of like hits, I wanna make an album. And so I made 11 records, and then I was like, something is missing. I said these records are all cool, I like them, but they don't connect in as a story. And then I started making interludes and music that would connect these records. And I was like, now it feels like an album all of a sudden. And I actually only wanted to make it for my live show to connect some records, because some records sound very happy, and then you have the next record that sounds more sad, and then it's like a mood shift right away. But you want to get that transition like a roller coaster ride. So.
Well, I appreciate that because I think sometimes you get an album from an artist you love, and it is kind of just like tracks thrown together and whatnot. So it's cool you put that thought into it.
Yeah, I think Drake always, even when I listened to More Life, I was like, he has these little music passes.
I love that. You noticed that too.
And that's what I used.
Parts about it.
Exactly, because then it's like freestyle, and it, like I said, I think it's a roller coaster ride. Because when you're on the roller coaster, right, you go up, and then the last part is you hear the thing going, and then there's the But that little moment, that needs to be accented, because that's the moment of excitement, and I feel like I'm building up with an interlude, a little music passage. So I went on the piano, I got the other chords of the record before, the chords of the next record before, the melodies, and then I was like, how can I fuse these records in a sort of a classical piece and then produce it out? It's awesome. Maybe 30-second pieces, but I too believe they connect.
Such a long way for the listener.
Exactly, because they go a long way for me when I listen to like an album of Drake. I think, or even wasn't If You're Reading It's Too Late, he had this little passage at the end that preach. I was like, this is a dope passage. Like this inspires me. So I just went to listen to a lot of music, and I was like, this is what I want to make. Close my eyes, take myself on a journey, and let's go.
Absolutely. You mentioned you name dropped Drake. Who else inspires you today?
Well, that's a good one. I definitely think that Drake once again makes really good albums, like as a story. I love Future. I love a lot of the hip hop acts, even Lil Uzi. I think it's sometimes a bit underrated, because I think Ed Sheeran did like a version together with him, and then you hear the melodies, how Ed Sheeran sings them, and you're like, all of a sudden you really see how good they are, and a lot of these guys are killing it, and I think why they're killing it, they're just doing what they love instead of thinking too much.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Lil Uzi and him on the VMAs with Ed Sheeran, because I feel like there is this sort of underappreciation for melodies in hip hop or just for the artistry in hip hop. And I think you can probably relate to that in your world too, where, you know, he's just up there, the old adage, right? Oh, they're just pressing buttons up there. But you guys are really creating music that could be translated to an Ed Sheeran or really any format of music.
Yeah. I always see it like this, right? Sometimes I have a guy like on YouTube that I don't know that makes a classical piece out of the songs I make. I'm like, whoa, did I do this?
Yeah.
Because it's all my chords and melodies. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I could do this. But it's nice when a song translates into different genres. Like you have the same song and then you can make an acoustic version or a piano version or even a hip hop version. And that's what music is about. You know, it can translate to different versions. And sometimes it doesn't sound maybe impressive, but when you really go to the backbone of it, the skeleton of the record, I think it is impressive, you know. And that's also, once again, Lil Uzi with Ed Sheeran. I was maybe like, oh yeah, this is a good record, I like this. And then I was like, whoa, it's actually really impressive, you know. Sometimes you just gotta get that, you know, like, they make it sound effortless, but it's...
Oh, there's a method to the madness, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. You know, I name dropped the streaming numbers, 100 million plus streams. It's crazy just on Spotify alone. But you're an independent artist. What do you attribute that to? Because that's rare for somebody who's not with a major.
You know, I've been rocking since 2010, and I think what really changed things for me when I have like a nice social following, like a couple of million on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I did so many remixes and stuff, and those fans sort of stayed with me, and those fans are pretty worldwide. You know, they're in Asia, Europe, South America, Africa, and in North America. So when I made a couple of records and I went to the streaming platforms, like they really embraced it because there was like a fan base already behind it.
Yeah.
And that drives it a little more. So I have like a little of my own traffic, and you know that little traffic creates a buzz. And I'm very lucky that, you know, I all those years, you know, I sort of slowly built that fan base, you know, and I think the live shows contributed to that a lot. That people see the show, like whatever, EDC New York or EDC Vegas or Tomorrowland or Coachella. I played Coachella twice. They remember the name, and then when you drop a song, you know, that they like, it just helps. And also on the streaming, you know, because they're familiar with the name.
Yeah, you talk about this worldwide audience you have, and I gotta talk about China. There's a great write-up in Forbes about how you're like the Beatles over there, where the hotel called you and said you can't even come near the hotel right now because you have the hundreds of fans outside. You had to take a secret elevator up to the top, go straight to your room. Talk about what's going on in China with you.
You know, a couple of years ago, they were like, you want to do a show in China? And I was like, you know what, let's do it. No one really did it. I think 2012 or 13. And I went there. It was good. It wasn't like, whoa, insane. But it was fun. And I stayed a couple of days. And I was like, you know, I like it here. Let's see if we can do more. And, you know, I end up coming back every 6 months to China. And then, you know, last year we did like 2 shows. I think it was Beijing and Shenzhen, and it was like a line outside. People, it was like a shift in 1 year all of a sudden. Like and we're like, whoa, this is crazy. Maybe it's just luck or whatever. So then a couple of months later, the promoter's like, you know, we've been getting all these requests, and we made a Weibo, which is like sort of
their Twitter.
Yeah, or Facebook, Twitter, like combined. And we made that, and the fans went up to 100,000 in no time. And we're like, oh, whoa, that's very rare for a foreign artist. And we're like, yeah, we want to do a show, like a tour. I was like, yeah, what do you mean a tour? Like, yeah, we want to do, I don't know how many shows, it was 12 or 16, because they kept on adding shows because they were selling out. And I mean, this wasn't in the big cities. This was, not big cities. They were like, yeah, it's in the small cities, Changsha or Chongqing, was it? And I was like, I go on Wikipedia, look, I'm like, oh wow, it's still 10 million plus people, and you're saying it's a small city.
It's a small town, right? By their standards.
Anyways, I did that tour, sold out everything, and you know, it was crazy. Like, I was like, it was a culture shock for us, because we in the country for a little while, going to cities we've never seen, flying domestic with only Chinese signs. So, You know, I know a couple of words Chinese now after
That's
being
so
a couple of
cool.
weeks, and then it was crazy because China's a huge country. Like every region was so different. You know, we went from literally from tropical sun to all the way up north, next to Siberia, playing a show over there, and you know, crazy,
That is
huge
crazy.
country. Couple, yeah, like the U.S., huge.
Yeah, you got to be probably headed back there pretty soon, right?
Yeah, I just a couple of weeks ago played Storm Guangzhou, biggest festival, headlined that, and now we're coming back in November.
Right on.
Crazy,
Very cool.
absolutely crazy, an experience. And you know why I think the music connects very well? It's very fresh for the kids. The kids, you know, for them streaming also opened up. You know, they're used to the radios playing certain things or TV, and now they look at the U.S. Oh wow, the U.S. has EDC, all these big festivals, and they want to feel that. They want to feel that too. You know, the kids want to get excited, and then they go on the streaming platforms and they listen to the records, and they want that. You know, that excitement too. You know, it
Right.
feels like when the U.S. first had their, you know, EDC Vegas and stuff. It feels like that's happening in China. Like it's insane. You
That's
know,
cool.
yeah. It
That's
feels
really
feels like a new love. You know, like
yeah,
amazing.
all over again.
Yeah.
That's neat. Hey, I got to ask you about the name.
Yeah.
Right? I've heard that you said that you chose rehab because when you need something, you need rehab. What does that mean?
You can look at it as a negative or positive, but it's like when you how can I say? You know, when you're addicted to something, you go to rehab. When you're addicted to music, you have to go to
You go to
rehab. So
rehab.
yeah, so that was
That's
sort of
cool.
yeah, it was a little wordplay. I didn't think too much of it. You know, I made it when I was a teenager, so you
Right
know,
on.
yeah.
Did you ever bat around any other names, any other possibilities to go under?
You know, when you release a couple of records, you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
They know me now. Now I want to talk about your fall plans. You kind of kicked things off, I guess, officially with the Made in America set. And how did that go? That show?
Made America sick, you know, dope. JC inviting, got a little glass of I don't know, like some nice champagne and some nice
Nice.
drinks. With the handwriting of Jay-Z, you know, like thank you for coming. Second time,
That's
play
awesome.
second. What a festival!
How does your festival set differ from a typical show set, right? Because at a show, they're all rehab fans. At a festival, of course, you got Chainsmoker fans, Jay-Z fans,
Yeah.
Beyonce fans, maybe, you know?
I think a festival set is a lot shorter, so it's like 60 minutes. So you really got to pack it in and you know go with a boom. And with a club set, it's longer and you can build it up more and there's more. The interval is slower, you know, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah.
and with a festival, you know, you gotta go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Will the music change? Like, will you play maybe more popular music at a festival or remix popular songs? or-
What I would a festival, let's say if it's 60 minutes, I always try to think like, okay, the first 20 minutes, I gotta go hard, you know, like the people that are not so familiar yet, or I gotta grab their attention, and then the middle section, I flow in and you know bring some fresher stuff, some newer stuff, and at the end, once again, I leave them with the bang, you know. So it's once
That's
again
awesome.
a slower interval, like
What's the rest of fall look like?
the rest of fall, a lot of Asia. The festival season starting in Asia. Big festivals in Asia, like Jakarta Warehouse Project, which is the biggest festival in Jakarta. Other big festival in Hong Kong, China, Taiwan. It's festival season in Asia, so it's
Right on.
insane. And the festivals are big there, and the cities are huge. You know, like Jakarta, I think it's like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like 20 million people.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, again, the album that is out everywhere, available now to buy, to stream, whatever you got to do to hear it, do it. It's called Trouble. If somebody's watching right now at home and they haven't heard the album, what's one song, in addition to the title track, because probably everyone in the world has heard Trouble with Verite, what's one song you'd put them onto?
I just can't. I think it's you know one of the strongest records on the album, and you know I was very blessed. It just got added on Spotify on today's top hits. You know, the biggest playlist of the world. So
Wow.
Bam.
Congratulations.
bam bam, I'm very excited.
With the sound effect.
Whoop whoop. Yeah.
Rehab, thanks so much for
Thank
stopping
you.
by on the
Thank you,
record. It was
guys.
a pleasure, man.
Boom. Thanks, guys.